Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to HunterTuned. Today I actually picked up some parts for my Mustang. I feel like I've been needing to do this for quite a while. I put it off all last year, and the car's had overheating issues pretty much ever since I put the LS in the Mustang. But anyways, I ditched the stock radiator here. This is like a big, heavy, brass, nasty, probably flows like shit radiator. And I picked up a F-body radiator from O'Reilly's. And this is like an aluminum one. The hoses are from an F-body. Everything plugs right in. So I'm going to try out this F-body radiator and see if we can't get the temps to calm down a little bit. The only issue I'm having is with the top hose with my intercooler pipe right here. I may have to modify this a little bit because it rubs on the intercooler pipe here and the turbo here. So I may actually try to set the radiator back a little bit farther and modify the top hose a little bit so this all works. The lower hose plugs right in. This is from an F-body as well. Yeah, so this all works pretty slick. Also, I'm not going to be running these Taurus fans because they're actually a little bit too deep. I thought they were smaller than they were, but I actually got these little slim fans here that I'm going to throw on. These are real narrow, and they actually flow pretty decent, but the way I had them set up on my Mustang before is I had them on the back side of the radiator here, on this side, and these fans are only a one-way fan the way the pitch of the blade is, so it only blows air coming, this way out of the fan. So they are supposed to be mounted on the front of the rad, like so, and they blow towards the motor. So I'm going to throw these guys on. They look a little bit better, and they're real narrow, so shouldn't have any interference issues. And this thing should be all dog pile chicken smile when we're all set and done. I'll get back to this in a minute, but I figured I would kind of talk with you guys a little bit about, tuning and building horsepower and what all comes with and the price you pay sometimes when stuff goes wrong. Now, I've had a lot of people message me just asking, like, I had a guy message me today and he said, he's like, hey, why are all these people selling their cars? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, 2 Hunter-tuned cars are for sale right now. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I can't control if somebody sells their car, Like the guy that I just put his single cam in and we built it and we boosted it and like last week or whatever, we did that car. He already threw it up for sale. That's not my problem. That's not something that has anything to do with me. He paid me money to build his car, and if he decides to sell it, that's his deal. That's not me. So I would like it if you guys kind of backed off a little bit on that stuff. I mean, if it's my personal stuff, maybe you can contact me if I'm selling something I got or whatever, but yeah. So anyways, I also had a couple issues. I had a car that I built like 6 months ago. It was an Integra. I didn't build the motor or anything like that. I just threw a turbo kit on it and I tuned it. And the guy raced it all last fall, and he ended up cracking a sleeve at the end of the season. And that motor was like a 12-8-1. It was nearly 13-1 by the look of the pistons on them. I think they were 12.5-1 pistons, but a lot of times when you surface the head and the block and everything like that, it'll get it upwards of like 12-8-1. And we put a turbo kit on that car, ran it on nearly 20 pounds of boost, and it ripped pretty good. He ended up cracking a sleeve, like I said, and another, a bunch of people were messaging me and being like, oh, you fucked up the tune,
That engine also had a shit ton of piston slap.
Yeah.
Before we even put a turbo on it.
Yeah. The motor, I feel like it was tired. It had 30,000 miles on the engine, and it slapped like a son of a bitch. It had a huge piston-to-wall clearance, which, probably wasn't good. It had, just a bunch of, it was just an older, tired motor, I think. And, that's just kind of the price you pay. You're always gambling when you deal with high compression and turbo. A lot of times tuning can alleviate it. I've had plenty of success stories. I've built 12.5-1 Hondas with turbos, and they lasted 2-3 years, and then I sold them. But, there's always the risk involved when you're building horsepower or building performance cars in general. And some people kind of don't have the common sense to realize that. Like if you're taking a Honda Civic and you're trying to go 10 seconds in the quarter mile, everything's probably not going to be all peachy. You're going to have some issues. You're going to have downfalls, and, not everything is always going to go to plan, guys. Stuff breaks. It just does. When you're throwing horsepower at it, it breaks. Like, it does. You know, obviously that's why people spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to build cars that work. I mean, good parts that hold up are really expensive. If you're playing with eBay turbos and whatever, like I do, you know, stuff breaks. And even if you spend $10,000 on a setup, it can still break. It doesn't matter how good your tune is or whatever. Any little fucking minute thing that goes wrong can cause issues. And I feel like a lot of you guys already know this, but I'm trying to get it out there and clear the air for some people that don't really have a lot of common sense with this stuff. And they realize, like, oh, you know, shit can break. You know, it's just part of playing with horsepower, I guess.
You gotta think too, your car came with 70 horsepower stock, and now you're at 450, 300. You tripled, almost quadrupled your horsepower.
Yeah.
I don't think they made a trans to think, oh yeah, they're gonna put 4 times the amount of power into it.
Yeah.
All these axles are gonna hold 600 horsepower, even though it's only a 100 horsepower car to begin with.
Yeah. But like I said, sometimes you get lucky. And a lot of times on the internet, all you hear about is the success stories. You never hear about failure because nobody likes to talk about it. But here on HunterTuned, I'm a real ass dude, and I'm going to tell you guys if we got problems with something or if something went wrong with a car that I worked on or tuned or whatever. I mean, I've had plenty of failures myself. I mean, I went through 3 motors in one of my last Hondas, you know, figuring it out and dialing it in and getting it all set up perfectly. But any little variable can cause issues like this stuff. I just tuned this car yesterday, and it's a Z6 or whatever. He had a lightweight crank pulley on it, which you guys know I hate. It had a bunch of messed up stuff when he brought it to me. I won't get into all of it because I spent probably 2.5 hours working on the car before we even tuned it. And he called me today, and he said, hey, man, the motor blew up. And I'm like, all right, well, it had a wastegate problem. I told you needed a wastegate. Told you to do this, told you to do that, told you to do that. And he went out and drove it and got on it a couple times or something, and he said it started knocking, which, I mean, that could have been an assembly error. That could have been a million things, like I said, guys. And I just don't want the fingers coming back to me because, for one, I didn't build that car that we did yesterday. I literally just tidied up loose ends, and I don't know how the motor was assembled or anything like that. So I don't know. I know, like I said, I know a lot of you guys realize this stuff already. I'm just trying to clear the air for some people that watch and kind of think making horsepower is easy and doesn't come with hardships, because it definitely does.
Rant.
So sorry about the rant, guys. Like I said, I'm just trying to make people understand.
It needs to be said.
It needs to be said, yeah, because I mean, you can go to a dyno tuner that has 100 years of experience, and if you put your motor together wrong, or if you all of a sudden run out of fuel pressure, or if you all of a sudden run out of this, or something small happens, the motor can explode. Like, it just happens. You know what I mean?
Take it to a dyno. They will warn you before they do your car. If your car blows up, it's not on us.
Right.
Because they didn't put it all together. Now, if they built your entire car and they were tuning it for you on the dyno and then blows up, and you
They should probably
it,
fix it.
well, then they'll fix it because
Yes.
it was their problem.
Yes.
If you bring them an engine that you slapped together in your backyard with dirt and water in it and you brought it to them and it blows up, how can you blame the tuner?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I haven't had any failures with customer cars that I put together. Like, if I put the whole motor together, I put the turbo kit on, I bought all the parts for it, I put all the stuff I know that needs to go into the car into it. If I do all that stuff, then, you know, obviously we haven't had any failures. But, I mean, like I said, whatever. But anyways, I offer consultations, guys. I've offered consultations pretty much since I started my channel, and I charge for my time. But, I mean, if you guys are questioning something or need advice on what to buy for your car, or if this will hold up or if that'll hold up or whatever, you can always reach out to me and ask me. I'm here to help you guys, but I also am not here to get criticized. Anyways, now that rant's over, we can get back to work, and I got everything, I think, to put my V20 VTEC into the EK hatch. I got a T-bracket, I got a flywheel, a clutch, all that stuff, so I can put my transmission onto this thing and probably stuff it into the car. But I'm still waiting on my turbo manifold and a few other odds and ends things before we can get the EK hatch together. I've also already got questions about, hey, where'd the Honda build go? It's been 2 days, guys. It's been 2 days. Chill. I'm not going anywhere, but I feel like if I started posting videos of like once a week. Oh, I put a radiator in this week. Oh, I put my transmission on this week. You guys would go fucking nuts.
What am I gonna watch before work, dude?
I know. All right, guys, so we got the F-body radiator all installed into the Mustang. It's just becoming more of a Chevy every day. But anyways, we got the radiator in. I kind of just mocked up these Mustang brackets to hold this thing, and it is rock solid. It's not going nowhere. This bracket's a little bit ghetto, but it does hold the end tank, so it doesn't move. The hoses from the Camaro bolted right in. The only issue I'm having with the top hose is the intercooler pipe pushes on it a little bit, but it is not kinked, and it is not touching the water pump or anything like that, so that's good. I just bled the system. I got it up to operating temp and let the thermostat open and watched the coolant level drop, topped it back off, and yeah, she was running around 205 degrees or so, 210, and then the thermostat opened and it dropped a little bit. And then it crept back up to like 210. I kicked the fan on and it dropped to 200. So maybe we're on to something here, guys. I'm really hoping this cures it. I also got the cooling fans on. These are just like the smaller slim fans I had laying around. And I have them both on the switch. So when I kick the switch on, both fans turn on and they blow towards the motor, which is how it should be. And yeah. This thing's all good to go. I think I'm going to go take it for a little test drive and see if this cooling issue is finally resolved or not. Alright guys, I'm out cruising this thing, and good news, good news, good news. This thing has not gotten above 193 degrees. No fan is on. And it's still just chilling at 193. I've been driving for like 15-20 minutes already, and yeah, this thing has not budged off 193 degrees, which is the coldest it's ever been. Usually by now it'd be pegging 230. Mint. So guys, I just got the car back and I drove it around for about a half an hour, and the temperature did get a little bit higher than 193. It got up to, I think, 204, 203, 204, something like that. And I drove it around quite a while with the fan off to purposely see if it would kind of go up with the fan off. And I clicked the fan on and it went right back down to 195. So that is awesome. That means this radiator definitely fixed my issue. I'm super happy that I got it sorted out finally. No leaks on the cooling system anywhere. I got everything plumbed in properly. The steam line's going to the radiator how it would normally on an F-body. The fans are doing their job. It's just freaking working. I like it. Everything is going mint. I'm hoping the temperatures on the motor still stay the same when it gets warm outside, like 80, 90 degrees outside. I'm hoping that this radiator is still sufficient. I think the only reason that the car actually gets hotter than 195 with the fan off currently is because this bumper literally has no airflow to the frickin' radiator. So as you can see, the Mustang bumper has like, I don't know, virtually no grill for any airflow to actually flow through there, and my license plate's covering some of it, so I may actually cut this bumper, like cut the shit out of it and cut like a big square here so you can, see the intercooler a little better, and then maybe trim out this little grill piece here so we can get some more airflow moving into the radiator there, because I do think that is an issue with this car, because when the hood's shut, like I said, the heat has literally nowhere to go. So I may do that, and maybe do some stuff in the engine bay. A lot of guys were telling me to cut out the wheel wells to accommodate for the heat in the engine bay, because, like I said, Mustangs are really kind of crammed and there's nowhere for the hot air to escape. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you. I know I was rambling quite a bit in the beginning. I actually, if you guys should check out PFI Speed, they have a YouTube channel. The guy that owns PFI Speed, his name is Brent, and he does a lot of Honda tuning. And he's kind of one of my guys I look up to in the Honda world. He definitely has like a good following and a good shop, and he's a great tuner. And I sent the Boosted Boys over those fuel injectors, if you guys didn't know already. And I actually talked to Kyle tonight on that little live stream. You could like call in on the live stream and stuff. And I talked to Brent and Kyle, and Brent is down with the flex fuel injectors that I sent over. So we may be having a tuning video with them guys. That'd be freaking super cool. Can't wait for that. But anyways, so got the Mustang dialed in. The only other thing I'm doing to it is probably going to throw the wideband in, because I finally have a wideband for it. I did have a wideband in it, obviously, but I took it out and used it on some other car, and I never put one back in. So I'm going to do that. Probably cruise around tomorrow and make sure the temperature is good again, and then go through the tune a little bit. Maybe I'll do that at some other day when I can actually film it. But yeah. And then I'm going to get this thing back together and throw the B20V in my EK hatch. The turbo manifold should be here in a few days. Got my turbo and everything already, obviously. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to quit talking here and let you guys have a great rest of your night. Better tomorrow. And always subscribe if you guys are new. Like the video and share it with all your friends. And comment down below and let me know what you guys think of today's video. So have a good one.